Good evening and welcome. We're so glad you have joined us for the Buffalo Philharmonic concert. We are taking you to three very special and very different places this evening, and I really think you're going to enjoy the journey. Starting out in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. It's very possible that without composer Astor Piazzolla, the classical music world would never have discovered the tango. Piazzolla played the bandoneon, which is a kind of small accordion. And he had a unique combination of backgrounds, Argentina and New York City. His background in Argentina taught him the essence of the tango, which has been described as a sad feeling disguised as a dance. It is the music of the poor, the music of the disenfranchised, the music of displaced people who are longing to go home and who can never return. Piazzolla left Argentina as a young boy, and he grew up in New York City, up in Harlem, listening to Duke Ellington and Cab Calloway. His influences were so varied, from tango genius Carlos Gardel to the great classical pianist Arthur Rubinstein, to composer Alberto Ginastera, to his teacher, Nadia Boulanger. Piazzolla returned to Buenos Aires and formed his own group that would play his unique tango style, which was a mixture of South American dance music, jazz, classical music, popular music, even folk music, something very special. And he called it El Nuevo Tango, the new tango. But older colleagues in Argentina, the tango purists of Argentina, did not approve. They were deeply critical of Piazzolla changing anything about the tango. But he continued to push forward, keeping tango alive and actually revitalizing what had become a moribund art form. You're going to hear one of his masterpieces on the concert, Las Cuatro Estaciones Porteñas, the Four Seasons of Buenos Aires, for violin and orchestra. This is great tango music, and it's going to be brilliantly played by an astonishing young violinist, Tessa Lark. You are in for an incredible treat. We know the name Giacomo Puccini as one of the greatest opera composers of all time. We love his Madame Butterfly, his La Bohème, Tosca, many others, extraordinary romantic treasures. He was born into a family of musicians. They had been church musicians for 4 generations in a small Italian town of Lucca. He entered the Milan Conservatory as a student, and he wrote a 1-act opera for a competition, an opera called Les Villis. Unfortunately, he didn't win. But writing this opera forged in Puccini such a passion for opera that it set him on his path of greatness in this genre. There are very, very few orchestral pieces by Puccini, and we're going to play one for you tonight, a piece called Crisantemi. Crisantemi in Italian, chrysanthemums in English. And in the language of flowers, the chrysanthemum signifies grief and mourning. Puccini wrote this beautiful piece in one evening in January of 1890 when he was heartbroken to hear of the death of a friend, Amadeo di Savoia. This elegy immortalized Savoia, but Puccini never forgot it as well. It also found its way into his opera Manon at the very sad part when Manon is wandering to her death in the desert. It's a deeply felt piece, rarely performed, and we hope you enjoy hearing it tonight. Sir Granville Bantock, not a name that is well known, but a brilliant English composer. He originally trained to be a diplomat, But he couldn't resist the lure of music. He was so passionate about music. And at the age of 20, he threw over all of his other studies and he entered the Royal Academy of Music in London. He was inspired by the music of Wagner and Strauss, by literature of all types, by diverse cultures, but he lavished his deepest passion on his country and on its history. He was very interested in the landscape and the spirit of the British Isles, folklore, its legends, its physical beauty, and its special personality. He wrote this Celtic symphony in 1940 based on an Irish folk song called Longing for the Sea. Sweeping melodies and lush harmonies for strings, and of course, we couldn't have an Irish piece without a harp. Actually, Sir Granville asked for 6 harps, but we've managed wonderfully well with 2 harpists, our own brilliant principal Madeline Olson and her excellent colleague, Hope Wilk.